Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dube's Dialogues, where we talk about anything and everything. Today I want to talk about consistency. Consistency is so powerful. As the year comes to an end and I look back, I feel like for me, the trait that has helped me the most this year is consistency. Consistency is so hard because it requires a lot of discipline, it requires a lot of regulation, it requires so much from the individual, but consistency is where you can thrive. Now, when it comes to consistency, it's so hard sometimes to get things started. It's so hard to do to just randomly jump to doing the same thing over and over again and making sure you're doing this repetitive action. But something that can help with that is the concept of non-zero days. Essentially, what a non-zero day is where you do one thing a day that works towards your goals or works towards what you want in life. And as you do this one thing in life that you do the one thing per day, eventually it's going to compound as if you're saving money, taking that compound interest, saving it, and you're going to have much more money in the end. It compounds, and eventually you start doing these things daily. It becomes to a thing where you don't even have to think about doing it anymore. It just becomes something that is a part of you, and it becomes something that you embody, and it becomes something that you just do to where it no longer is as daunting of a task as it was when you did first start. That's the power of a non-zero day, and that's why consistency is so powerful, because you never know where consistency is going to take you. Being consistent in the things that you do, being inconsistent in life, being inconsistent in your relationships, being consistent in your friendships, being consistency in everything is so powerful because it's going to take you so far. I feel like a lot of times we want so much at once, but we just can't have that. We want overnight success, but that's just not how things work, which is why the concept of a non-zero day is extremely powerful, because you're doing one little actionable task, like thinking about the goal, taking an actionable step by actually doing something towards the goal. Even if you just have a thought or you write something down, you're doing something and you're being extremely intentional about what you're doing, that you are actually building the foundation of the core to consistency, and that is what's powerful. I believe that it's good to be consistently good than occasionally great. And the reason I say this is because if I can do a lot of these things consistently, then I can finally be great multiple times in the things that I do, which is why I love that saying. And I think about this in specific when I come to content. Like recently, I've been making a bunch of content and I've been extremely consistent at it. And as I've been consistent at it, it's not much more of a daunting task, and it's just something that I do. The thing is, prior to this year when I actually started the content, I would release a video, I'd release a post, I'd do something like this every once in a while, and it'll be a great post. Like I get so much positive feedback, it'll be great. But the issue was I wasn't being consistent with it. I was just being great in those occasional moments, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it made things difficult because I'm not being consistently consistent with all these things, which is why I feel like you need to be consistently good, because the more you can just achieve the consistent good, the occasional great will show a little bit, and it'll be more, and it'll be more, and more. It's like when you save money and you compound, you start with little bits and pieces, and eventually you're gonna have a lot of money to save, which is why I think it's so important. And I've noticed as I've been starting to produce content now, I've been starting to pump out more high quality content, and it's starting to get easier because I'm doing something all the time. And I feel like it's more rewarding because I'm doing something that's extremely difficult to me, and it's a challenge. These things aren't hard. Being consistent is hard because you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to show up for yourself. And showing up for yourself sometimes can be an extremely difficult thing to do if you've never done it before, or it's just hard because sometimes we like to slack off. But being consistent is probably one of the best things to do. And I'm trying to be consistent now as I'm posting these YouTube videos. I've been more consistent on my Instagram, where I'm posting 1 to 2 posts a week. Whatever the goal may be, the consistency is there, and things are getting better. My views are going up, I'm getting better at editing, and that's the thing. The only thing I can say is the issue with consistency, especially depending on what you do, the results are definitely not going to come overnight. And I feel like that is another key challenging pillar to consistency, because you may feel like you're doing all the right things, but you're not yielding the result that you want yet. And what I can say to that is that things take time. You're not going to yield the right result eventually, but the more you keep doing it, and even if you keep failing, you keep doing these things, the more you be consistent in it, the more it's going to shine through. If you look at all the best athletes, LeBron James, Steph Curry, all those people, you see they've done this stuff over time, and they've just done it. If you look at streamers like Kai Cenat, he's been streaming and doing all these things for years, and he hasn't been as big, but his work finally got seen, and he's just been good at what he does, and he's been consistent with it. He's not given up. That's one of the hardest things when it comes to being consistent, which if you can get through that rut, you're gonna be so powerful, and you're gonna be such a strong person, because you have went through so much, and nothing can take you down. Which is why I believe being consistently good and occasionally great is the best thing. And consistency is so powerful, because with being consistent yields a lot of successful things and just brings so much light into your life, and it brings that light around others. So reflecting back on the year, for me, consistency has probably been one of the best traits that I've been on the way to master. I'm still not the best at it, but I feel like I can pride myself because I've done something better each day. And I'm trying to take the actionable step. So as the year comes to an end, I want to carry consistency into 2025, because it's something that I'm replicating, and it's just a good trait to have. And honestly, it's probably the backbone to be successful, and that's the goal. So if you enjoyed this talk about consistency, feel free. If you guys have anything that you want to talk about or anything that you can relate to, feel free to drop it in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dube's Dialogues. Happy holidays and take care.